Let me lay out the chain here.
Okay.
Joe Biden had a loss of mental acuity that was obvious to anyone with a C-SPAN subscription. Okay. The people in the White House knew that. They might have convinced themselves it wasn't as bad, and he did have good moments. So but they also knew he had bad moments. They knew that he once addressed a dead congresswoman who he knew was dead, but spoke to her as if she was in the room. So they know he has a problem. They know that winning the election before he withdrew as a nominee depended to a not insignificant extent on keeping that conversation from growing, even though polls showed 70% or something of Americans thought he didn't have the acuity. So they needed to, that was their big vulnerability. He wasn't stepping aside. So they knew their job was to minimize conversations about this topic. And so they did things like when they saw an opening to say, well, Republicans have overstepped their bounds because they've doctored some of these videos. Not all of them, but some of them. So what I'm saying is, if you know he's got a loss of mental acuity, they did. If you know winning the White House back and stopping Trump depends to a large extent on keeping that conversation from coming to a head. And then you say, well, we know the press will side with us if we give them the opportunity to side with us. So here's an opportunity to say, hey, press, you don't need to cover Joe Biden's loss of mental acuity. You can cover the sexy concept of deep fakes,
Well,
cheap
yeah, sure.
fakes.
It's
So
trying.
do they sit at a meeting and say to each other, here's our opening. Let's pitch this concept of cheap fakes because this will change the subject, or they wouldn't discuss that amongst themselves.
No, they would. They absolutely would.
Yeah.
And they would probably signal a campaign. And there are a core group of attack dogs that were on the campaign and a core group in lower press at the White House.
Hey, want to be part of the two-way community all the time? Hit the subscribe button. Great video clips like this, plus conversations like no other, full episodes, and more, always available on this channel. You got to hit subscribe to never miss a thing.